Oh, I mean, the big challenge for us around food is to make sure that we can produce sufficient food, quality food and safe food.
The truth is, in 2050 we have to feed 10 billion people. Now we are 7 billion people in this world, and we have to look how we can get the food prepared and made in the right style.
Basically it comes down to producing more with less. That's the ultimate gain. If we can produce the food we want with actually minimising the impact on the environment, then that's what we're trying to achieve.
I don't think consumers think too deeply about the big societal challenges, but what they do worry about is that they will have this good quality food available to them all the time, and we take that for granted.
Well, I see the opportunity to completely change the production model of agriculture. So when you look at precision agriculture, the way it's in the glossy presentations today, it's mostly a digitalization of the old model. But if you think digitalization to the end, it will actually enable completely different ways of crop production, mixed cropping, staggered seeding, staggered harvesting, digital plant protection without chemicals.
Precision agriculture is common sense, but it's using technologies from the eye in the sky and all sorts of wonderful things to make the farmer's job easier, to target, to reduce costs, to reduce wasteful runoff of inputs which can impact negatively on the environment.
I think precision agriculture could also help us to preserve biodiversity. We can reduce the use of fungicides if we have early detection methods. The other one is on herbicides, where I think we don't need to spray the full fields.
Everything we think about in the future is how the farmer will have a kind of normal life compared to the urban population, because it's still very demanding, and if you want to attract a new generation and keep people on business, you have to provide the same kind of technologies, the same kind of income and living conditions. And that's where precision agriculture plays a big role.
And I think the next generation will have a lot of opportunities to not only work within their own environment, which they did over generations. Now it's a global question, and through internet and through the new functions of the internet, you can be connected globally. And I think that our problems which we have, we only can solve if we work together on the globe to protect this globe.
One of the biggest challenges is, I think, how will it play out, and will it reorganize the sector? Because it leads to bigger farms, it leads to some of the decisions probably not taken on the farm anymore, but somewhere else in the food chain.
I would be concerned that farming would be just a business for large corporations. I think there is some personal involvement of farmers that we should look after, because then the diversity in the products that we get is something that is worthwhile preserving.
We need to tackle issues related with ownership of data and the control and sharing of this data along the food chain.
Ownership is one difficult thing. If you own the data and you let nobody make use of it, then you probably don't get the right information.
Because I think there is some reluctance to adopt the new technologies, and we have to deal with that as well.
Well, basically we need that the technology delivers better production. We need maintaining the quality of the product, resource efficiency, better environmental services, more efficient machines, and a more prosperous living standard for our members. We need also to tackle issues as, for example, broadband in rural areas. So in order to apply digital technologies, we need the machines to talk with itself. So we need to tackle issues with interconnectivity, interoperability, European standards as much as possible. We need a strong EU market. We need research and innovation, applied agriculture on farm.
I think farmers need to be multifunctional and multitasked in many ways, because they are managers of nature. They are trying to look after an environment that's volatile and changes constantly. They have to look after the economic side of their businesses. They have to look at where the market is evolving. So they need really a very broad education.
Many farmers have already a lot of technology in the farm, but it has been very hard to take the full potential from all that technology.
The skills that we need going forward are much different to what we needed in the past. Much less labour with higher skilled, more knowledge is what we're looking for.
And they need to deliver also some competences in order to understand the potential they have and what they can do with technology.
The technical side has not been highlighted anywhere near enough within schools. We need to get the curriculum full of agricultural and food related examples, so that they do their education in the context of food and farming, and therefore we can generate the interest we need to generate the type of people coming into the industry that we will need in the future.
They will also develop some organizational capacities. They will have to manage their farm in a different way and collaborate with other farmers.
But I think here is the key that Europe might need to improve greatly on. In the past, we had very strong research and advisory services in our member states, which supported our producers and gave them knowledge. So there was knowledge transfer, and farmers were hungry and still are hungry for knowledge. Many countries have literally broken down all of that support system. They're not investing sufficiently in research and innovation, and they're certainly not getting the message to farm level.
Europe should also be active and has a certain agriculture that is also different from the agriculture in the US, for instance, if it comes to quality products, if it comes to the diversity of products. So I think there are also very good reasons why Europe itself does not wait until something happens at the global level or until it is solved by technology developed elsewhere.
Precision agriculture is not a goal in itself. It's part of good agricultural practices.
If you want to speed up the adoption or help people to go through the learning processes that are needed for this technology, we have instruments like investment aid, the European Innovation Partnership, where farmers and input industry and food processors and ICT companies, the big ones or startups, could work together on problems that they would like to solve with ICT.
We spend a lot of money to comply with all kinds of regulations like emissions regulations, which have nothing to do with precision farming. So if we can have more balanced regulation, we can dedicate more R&D funds to precision agriculture. That's the first point. And the second point is we expect to see in the future more funding dedicated to the European Research and Development Program called now Horizon 2020.
So in that sense, these policies could be targeted even more to these technologies if we think that would be useful.
We can learn from each other, and I think the best benefit is if we enable the people through science and research to have options for the right decision making. And foresight gives us a clearer vision of the options which are there and which have impact on the society.
As a politician, I really like the concept of foresight, that we think a little bit further, that we don't react on different crises, but we think ahead, and that we're more proactive in making our policy.
So I think there will be a very interesting future, not only for agriculture, but also here in Brussels, where we will need to discuss all these issues.